better.
I want to recognize, in starting, my mother, who is with us, Elisha Weisel. Thank you so much for being here. My mother, when she first came to this country in the early 1950s, and she saw the way that Black Americans were treated, having to give up their seats on the bus, forms of racism, immediately decided that she was going to become a member of the NAACP, and to this day she still carries her card. She still has it. She got into what has been called good trouble, going down on her weekends as a college student to the South. It happened a lot. And I want you to know that with my father, Elisha Weisel, when he won the Nobel Peace Prize and received money from the Nobel Committee to do with as he saw fit, and they founded the Elisha Weisel Foundation. One of the first significant targets that they addressed was the Ethiopian Jewish population, Black Jews, who had been airlifted out by Israel in the late 80s and early 90s. And they set up foundations in Israel to care for and guide and provide education for that community. It's not just my parents. When I, as a young professional, was recruited by various nonprofits eager for my time, I did not go to any of the Jewish organizations, but instead with my friend Rich Bury, who now runs the Robin Hood Foundation here in New York. He started groundwork, and I was an early board member. And we took that thing from a baby and helped grow it because he and I with him were committed to the East New York area and doing what we could for minorities who needed a chance. The Weisel family always stands with the Black community against racism and always will stand against it in all of its lingering forms to this day. It's why I'm so particularly moved that we have Black leaders and members of the Black community with us here today at a time where American Jews feel so under threat from anti-Semitism. At a time where we can recognize that the Black community also continues to feel the sting of racism, the lingering effects of slavery that still affect economic outcomes for so many in this country. It is important for us to do this work together. On anti-Semitism, I will tell you it's a moment where we experience it from the right. You have crazy messages coming from David Duke, Nick Fuentes, who shamefully was granted a seat at President Trump's dinner table. And because of that, you have shootings by people who believe their lies. Pittsburgh, Poway, and then in Buffalo, 10 innocent people targeted for the color of their skin just this year by a shooter who believed the garbage that Jews are the reason the white man has been dethroned from his rightful place. The left is not without problems too. Last year, when there were hostilities taking place and bombs were raining down in Israel, a man was beaten to within an inch of his life in Times Square by a man screaming at him for being a Jew. Race is used, unfortunately, on college campuses and through intersectionality to divide us, American Jews and Blacks. The big lie is that Jews are white, Palestinians are Black, and this very complex situation that is the Zionist project, the Jewish people's right to self-determination, the Palestinian people's quest for their own country, that can be simplified and used to drive a wedge between our people here in this country is an insult to our intelligence and needs to be fought. You have right, you have left, and then you just have crazy. We have Kanye. We have whatever toxic crap Kyrie was pushing on, that the Jews are not the real Jews. This is stuff that unfortunately we've heard from leaders like Farrakhan. It's out there. It needs to be addressed. It's harmful to us. It's hurting us. We need to talk about it. We're going to hear, and I should just say, and it leads to real results. It leads to, these words are not just words, they lead to violence against our people. Jews were shot in Jersey City because they were Jewish by people who believed these lies. Stabbings in Muncie. It's not just theoretical. And we're going to hear today from two leaders who I am so looking forward to hearing from, Reverend Sharpton and Reverend Tillard, who we've walked such a long and complex journey with, who remember the city in some of its worst moments when anti-Semitism and racism were at their peak, dividing us. I want to talk to you a little bit about the event tonight and why I think it's so important. It's very hard to fight lies in the modern day. The truth is elusive because it requires thought and requires discussion, and we're all scrolling on our phones looking for the next 10-second hit of information. So we have to be mindful of that to get things started. And that means that generating moments and images of us coming together at this incredible opportunity where Hanukkah and Kwanzaa align to think about the values that we in our communities have. Think about it. Yes, maybe there's a way to peace if we all just assimilate away. Jews stop being so Jewish, blacks stop being so identifiably black, and we all just become assimilated Americans. Maybe there would be less issues, but that also doesn't sound very interesting. And what a betrayal that would be of our cultures and our traditions and the rich spice and flavor that we as peoples have to bring to the American project. Hanukkah originally was a fight against assimilation by Jews who saw that the Seleucid Empire had told them assimilate or die. And we said no, we refuse to assimilate and we refuse to die. So I'm glad that our peoples are coming together for Hanukkah and Kwanzaa to show that we can keep our peoplehood alive while also being Americans together. And I'm glad that we will be seen together with the image of lighting candles at a time of great darkness. My biggest hope for this event is that when we walk out of here, others will be inspired around the country to take photos of joint candle lightings between the black community and the Jewish community, and inspire others in turn and show the media does not just have to be filled with hate and anti-Semitism and racism. It can be filled with us coming together. #LightTheCandles. And thank you so much for all being here tonight.